You know that feeling, right? That little nagging suspicion in the back of your mind that something just isn't adding up. Well, what if you had the tools to find out for sure? Today, we're diving into the playbook of a master private investigator. We're taking the core lessons from Daniel Ribikov's book and showing you how these skills can sharpen your judgment, whether you're leading a team at work or just navigating everyday life. The book kicks off with this really simple but powerful idea. Because really, that's what this is all about. It's that desire inside all of us to cut through the noise, to get to the bottom of things, and to find out what's real. That's the engine that drives every single investigation. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about wanting clarity. And this quest for truth, it pops up everywhere. Think about it. In the boardroom, you're wondering if a potential business partner is everything they claim to be. Or maybe at home, you're hearing a story that just doesn't quite sit right. These are the kinds of everyday mysteries where the skills of a private investigator become incredibly useful. So our guide on this journey is the guy named Daniel Ribikov. Now, he was forged in the super high-stakes world of New York City's Diamond District. His expertise didn't come from some textbook. It was born from a very real and very personal history that made finding the truth a matter of survival. His story really begins in his family's diamond business. But after his father was brutally attacked during a robbery, everything changed. That single event became the catalyst, the thing that pushed him to found the International Investigative Group, or IIG, where he started using his street smarts to uncover the truth for other people. So what does it actually take to think like an investigator? It's way less about the trench coat and the magnifying glass, and a whole lot more about a specific kind of mindset. Before we even get into the skills, let's take a look at the core qualities you need. And it all starts with this really provocative question that Ribikov asks. Now, this isn't about being dishonest just for the sake of it. It's about understanding that sometimes you have to create what's called a pretext, a cover story, to get past someone's defenses so you can uncover a much larger truth. It's a really crucial ethical line that every single investigator has to walk. So this whole mindset, it pretty much boils down to these key things. First, a killer poker face, so you're unreadable under pressure. You need guts, or as they say, chutzpah, to walk into some really tense situations. You have to be adaptable, ready to change your entire plan on a dime. And you've got to be willing to step way outside your comfort zone and have the discretion to just blend in, like you're not even there. This is that poker face in action. Rybakov tells this great story about being on a stakeout when some guy walks up and knocks on his window wanting to know what he's doing there. Without missing a beat, Rybakov tells him, "I'm an auto repossessor." The guy asks if he's there for his car, and Rybakov just fires back, "Do you have a Mercedes?" The guy says no. "Then you're okay, bro." And just like that, the suspicion was gone. That is thinking on your feet. Okay, so these qualities get put to the ultimate test in the single most important skill of any investigation, surveillance. This is the art of watching, and trust me, it's probably not what you're picturing. You know, Hollywood sells us this fantasy of constant action and thrilling car chases. The reality? Rybakov calls it brutal. It's hours, and I mean hours, of mind-numbing waiting, a lot of the time in extreme heat or freezing cold with absolutely no sleep. He says the key is to think like a sniper, find a hidden spot, be incredibly patient, and just wait for your moment. And in the world of surveillance, the absolute worst thing that can happen is getting burned. This is the insider slang for when your cover is totally blown. The person you're watching knows you're there, the whole operation is shot, and you have to get out. This next story just brilliantly illustrates the lengths investigators will go to avoid getting burned. One of Ribikov's agents, Carlos, was watching a woman who was fraudulently claiming a work injury while she was working as a stripper. So, to blend in, Carlos had to act just like every other guy in the club. His justification was perfect. If I didn't do what everyone else was doing, I'd stick out. And you know what? He was right. That is extreme adaptability. But watching from a distance is only half the battle. A lot of the time, you actually need to talk to people. This is what we'll call the art of knowing, or what Ribikov calls credibility assessment. Basically, it's the professional's guide to spotting a lie. The real key to spotting deception is realizing that it's rarely just in the words someone uses. A professional is monitoring everything all at once: their specific word choices, their tone of voice, their body language, their facial expressions. They're looking for any disconnect between what's being said and what's being shown. So the pros use two main methods. First up is the interview. This is totally non-accusatory. It's a fact-finding mission. You're just having a conversation, building a connection. Then, only if it's necessary, you move to the interrogation. This is direct, it's accusatory. Your goal here isn't to get more facts, it's to get a confession. Knowing which one to use and when is everything. You know, when someone's being deceptive, their language often follows certain patterns. They might protest way too much, getting super defensive over a simple question. They'll try to divert blame. Oh, Jerry mostly handled that part. Or they'll tell you this long, rambling story focusing on all these tiny, unimportant details and just delay getting to the actual event. These are all huge red flags. So, we've covered the mindset, the art of watching, and the art of knowing. Now let's bring it all together and see how you can actually apply these skills in a practical, professional setting. Okay, here's a classic scenario, straight out of the book. Let's say you're a manager, or maybe you own a business. You're out of the office, but you've got this strong feeling that the second you leave, productivity just tanks. So what would Dan do? His answer is super direct and all about using modern tech. Install surveillance cameras. This isn't about being sneaky, it's about being strategic. It lets you monitor what's happening remotely and just make sure the work is actually getting done. It's a clear, evidence-based solution to a really common business problem. So whether it's spotting deception in a negotiation or just understanding the world around you with a little more clarity, the principles of investigation are really powerful tools. So the real question isn't what Dan would do, but what are you going to do? Now that you have the framework, what truths will you uncover?